Welcome back now to the Biden family influence peddling. Hunter Biden's family apparently not bothered by his criminal probe and ethics questions. Hunter Biden's wife offering a thumbs up on Tuesday when asked about how her husband is doing. Senator Ron Johnson currently doing his own investigation into Biden's corrupt deals and influence peddling with officials across the world. He joined me last week to discuss. Watch.
The dam is breaking. I think a lot of information is coming out. The Hunter Biden's laptop, which now the mainstream media is reluctantly admitting that they certainly should have opened their mouths. Now that we know that they had possession of that, when the 51 former intelligence officials basically engaged in their own information operation by saying that the laptop had all the earmarks of a Russian information operation.
Joining me right now is the Washington Examiner's chief political correspondent, Fox News contributor Byron York. Byron, it's great to see you. I love talking with you. You can't write this stuff. I mean, the 51 intelligence officials who signed their name to that letter saying that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. The Republicans want to investigate that, should they get the majority in November. Your thoughts on where we are in this probe and why the media, the mainstream media, seems to be now admitting the truth that influence peddling is a serious issue. And yes, the Biden laptop and its contents were real.
Well, there's a few new developments. Actually, Valerie Biden Owens, who is the president's sister, was on MSNBC yesterday and was asked very, very gently, do you sometimes worry that maybe Hunter Biden's business dealings kind of make him look bad? And she was adamant. She said there is no there there. No, there. So the White House is still absolutely stonewalling the whole thing. So that's important. And we know we're getting reports out of the grand jury investigation in Delaware that they're asking more and more questions. We have a report that they have asked at least one witness who the big guy was, and that was Hunter Biden's way of talking about his father, Joe Biden. And lastly, we know they're looking at all the complex transactions in which Hunter Biden got money from foreign sources and whether he fully paid his taxes on it. For example, he had a business associate in Kazakhstan, and they know that the business associate in Kazakhstan, using a company in Singapore, wired $142,300 to a company in Delaware, which the very next day wired the same amount, $142,300, to a car dealership in New Jersey, the purpose of which was to buy a high-end sports car for Hunter Biden. So the question is, were all the taxes paid on that money? And so you look at examples like that. That is what the grand jury is doing right now. And apparently they're moving closer to a conclusion.
And there are other examples similar to that. John Solomon this morning is out with a piece saying that memos gathered by the FBI show a pattern of Hunter Biden mixing business affairs with a hunger charity. And John Solomon writes, while his father's 8-year tenure as Barack Obama's vice president was underway, Hunter Biden received a remarkable overture back in 2015. One of China's richest businessmen wanted to make a sizable donation to the World Food Program, which was led by the U.S.-based nonprofit dedicated to the WPP USA, is a U.S.-based dedicated to supporting the World Food Program. But soon the memos gathered by the FBI show that the charitable discussions evolved into an expanding relationship between Hunter Biden and the Chinese energy giant CEFC. And that is the company that you refer to when you say 10% held by H for the big guy. Where is this going? I mean, do you think we will see an indictment of Hunter Biden, even while his president is, his father is a sitting president?
Well, we know that Hunter Biden has paid reportedly $1 million, perhaps more, in back taxes to try to settle this. And the question is, will that really settle it? Because not only are there tax issues, there's also foreign agent registration issues. So right now, it appears that the Justice Department, the investigation seems to be headed toward an indictment. So there's really two parts of the story, which is, What are they going to do about Hunter Biden? And then when does the story touch on Joe Biden? There is significant evidence on the laptop of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden commingling their finances, of Hunter Biden actually paying some bills for Joe Biden. And we do know, I think for a fact, that Joe Biden showed up to meet Hunter Biden's business associates, which is a very big deal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I've said many times, this is not a Hunter Biden story. This is a Joe Biden story. We have the text messages from Hunter to his daughter, Naomi, saying, I've been paying the family bills for 30 years. And so he's hauling in all this cash from overseas officials and then paying the family bills. But, you know, we want to see accountability, and we're still waiting for accountability out of the Russia collusion lie. In the latest John Durham probe, an Obama-appointed judge is denying former Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman's request to dismiss the case. Sussman will stand trial on May 16th. He is facing up to 5 years in prison. Obviously, as you know, for telling the FBI he was operating just as a good Samaritan rather than bringing this lie of Russia collusion, which was made up by the Hillary Clinton campaign, to the FBI.
You know, for a while, Sussman and his allies were trying to claim that there was very, very flimsy evidence that he had misrepresented himself to the FBI, that it was only the word of that one FBI official, James Baker, the general counsel at the time, only his word that Sussman had in fact said that he was not working for any client. And now Durham, the prosecutor, has produced a text in which Sussman said the day before, I am not coming on behalf of any client. So that's kind of out the window. The other defense they're trying to use is what's called materiality. That is this lie that he told important, and did it change the course of the investigation? And that's what the trial is going to be about.
Well, the Republicans want to also investigate the FBI. I mean, we have to see where the FBI was on all of this. We know they were sitting on the Hunter Biden laptop while the Democrats impeached President Trump over Ukraine. So we'll be watching that one as well. Byron, it's good to see you as always. Nice to see you back here on the program, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, sir. Byron York joining us, Washington Examiner. We'll be right back.